Yo, Mike, come see me. Michael, come and see me. Look at me. Wanna fuck with me? Huh? Motherfucker.
No! No, no! 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 No!
Now, before I launch in this vid, I just want to say my thoughts and prayers are to Jason Tatum and his teammates. Because, Jason Tatum is really a very classy dude, man. Class act. Obviously, the celebrations are cringe, but he's one hell of a ball player. I've always liked Tatum, even though he's on my least favorite team. So, prayers out to him. I'm definitely rooting for his comeback. And I hope his comeback will be one for the books, man. So, I want to get that out of the way. But, game two, like I said in my game two analysis, or I guess you could say that, I was not going to make that a series recap vid. More, that was like an emergency vid. Like, it was just like, sound the freaking, sound the alarm type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but man, I knew the Knicks were going to win this game. I'm surprised at how they did it, man. Like, I'm looking at it right here, bro. 20-26, right? You feel like the Knicks should be up 10. Okay, it's somewhat of a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, it'll be a close game, and then the second quarter. The second quarter is what ultimately did the Celtics in. Yeah, the third quarter as well, a little bit of the third, but the game was over after the second quarter. And once the Knicks got up 40, it was for sure over at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was 37-64 at the half, and that was essentially the game. What I didn't like about the Celtics in this particular game is that they went away from what worked for them in game 5 and game 3. It was, not only was a balanced attack, it was an attack to the rim, which opened up a lot of their three balls. They tried to do that at some points in tonight's game, but they were more successful at it in game 5. But game 6, they went back to heaving threes for absolutely no reason. But it's just like I didn't get the approach. Why? Because the Celtics are a lot better when they're attacking the rim. But some may argue that the Knicks kind of didn't take it seriously enough, and they were kind of disgusted on how they didn't take it seriously. It's just, but they gave the Celtics no breathing room. Obviously, the Celtics had very little margin of error, but especially with Tatum's injury, that's a given. But it's just like missed shots and turnovers. They picked a very bad game to go cold from three after they made. I think I saw on the ESPN graphic. I think they made 18 threes in game 5. Let me go look at Wednesday's game. They won that game 127-102. Okay, cool. That game. Yeah, the Celtics made 22 out of 49 threes. So they had a good Boston Celtics shooting night. Obviously, 49, 50, damn near 50 threes is a lot, but they hit them at a high clip. That's why that game went their way the way it did. So, but tonight was obviously a different story. The Celtics shot 12 of 40 from 3, which is 30%. So a major drop off from what they had in game 5, of course. But yeah, the thing I didn't like about the Celtics this whole entire series was that they get so 3 happy. The first 2 games, and I said this in game 2 or after game 2, the Celtics took 100 threes within the first 2 games, and they only made 25 of them. Some may argue that was the series right there, because their over-reliance on the 3 ball, living in 3 then dying by the 3s, is just like, did no one learn from the 2018 Rockets? But enough about that. I definitely want to talk about the Celtics and their future. Let me Let me go pull it up because there's a couple things I do want to address. So I'm going to be looking at a post from Clutch Points, which it says the end of an era, and I'll be watching more videos on like the end of the Boston Celtics as we once knew them. You dig what I'm saying? So this is a post from Clutch Points. I'm not going to show the graphic here. Y'all can just look at it on Instagram at Clutch Points. This may be the last time you'll see this core together. It wasn't because of fourth quarter meltdowns or tensions in the locker room or even injuries. I hardly believe there was any tensions in the locker room anyway, because Jaylen Brown said in his post-game interview that we just fell short. None of this had nothing to do with turmoil. They never had turmoil. They just they all got along. But keeping them together, or continuing on with the post, keeping them together is just too expensive. If things stay as is, the Celtics are about to face a $238 million tax bill. God damn. An expense we are not sure not any new owner would want to spend, right? So in the 2024-25 season, their payroll is $193 million. And they had to pay $53 million in luxury tax. Next season, their estimated payroll would be $227 million, and their estimated luxury tax would be $238 million. Wow. That figure would also rank as the largest luxury tax bill in NBA history. It will make the Celtics the first team ever to have a luxury tax that is larger than their actual payroll. The Warriors came close to that a few times. I'm assuming 2023 is that, I think. Someone run that by me, because I feel like I saw similar posts with Golden State a few years ago. I think it was 2023, but it could be 2020, 2019 if anything. But again, I'm not sure. Someone run that by me. Somebody's got to go for the C's. The logic is the only logical answer. And a lot of people are pointing at Drew Holiday and Derek White, because there were some indications. I saw a post during these playoffs when they were playing the Magic, or I think they were just starting the series against the Knicks, but whatever. The Celtics had to are exploring cost cutting trades after this offseason, right? So and a lot of the two trade targets are Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. Those are the two trade targets. You know what I'm saying? So that is not a good thing, because I'm also reading an article from USA Today where it says, if you're one of those teams, you look at Boston's roster and see players like White, Brown, Holiday, and Porzingis who can help the team to the next level. Continuing on with this article, Brown is in the second season of his 5-year, $285 million contract. Drew is in the first year of a 4-year extension, which he signed for $134 million. I believe it was an extension with the Celtics. Yeah, it was. Now that I just remember that. Porzingis has one more year on his contract, and then Derek White's 4-year, $118 million extension begins next season. Obviously, Tatum Supermax. And here's something about the Celtics too that could really mean their future is not as bright as people think it is to be. Obviously, it's bright with your stars, but in terms of just having the resources to get good role players and keeping your foundation while getting new guys on the roster, it illustrates the turbulent nature of today's NBA. A byproduct of the 2023 collective bargaining agreement that aimed to ensure every team was in a position to compete for championships and had the resources available to do so, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said in July. So the thing is, Boston really, honestly, as long as they have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White, they'll be fine, which I'd still believe that, but I think it's even more so evident that the Celtics are going to do cost-cutting trades, and if that means cost-cutting trades, and if that means trading Drew Holiday, fine. If that means letting Kristaps Porzingis go, fine. Sam Hauser even, because a lot of people are saying Sam Hauser is probably gone. But Celtics, I may hate the Celtics, but they really don't have anything to hang their heads on, because they were like 11 months ago, we saw them win the NBA title, giving them banner number 18. And yeah, whether it was easy or not, they earned that title. And they still are going to have their foundation, even though a lot of people are not big Joe Mazzulla fans right now. They're still going to have that foundation of just playing defense and hitting shots. Jason Tatum will be back. I think his recovery story will be amazing. And then Excuse me. Another thing too would be that you still have your franchise players for the near future. But I think the other thing too, I think this is another underrated part that people don't talk about. The other teams are going to get better, and I think it would be worth it trading Drew and Porzingis, and possibly Al Horford might retire too after this year because I do think he may have played his last game in the NBA, and if it comes true, salute to one hell of a career, Al. You deserve it. But the thing too is that other teams are going to get better. They're going to be constructed to win titles, like the Detroit Pistons. Their title window starts now, and I think they're gonna. And I think they should make the trade for Klay Thompson. I'm not going to go all into that because you can watch my Pistons Knicks series recap. Did so the Boston Celtics. I don't want to say they're done, but they have a lot of retooling and a lot of soul searching to do because getting blown out, not losing the series necessarily, but getting blown out in the fashion you did to end your season, it's embarrassing, but it's just like, I could kind of tell things were not going to go the Celtics way because I don't know if I said this in my Bucks series recap vid when I was covering them and the Magic all in the same video. I did say that, yeah, Milwaukee would have won that game 5 in Indianapolis when they were up 7 with a minute to go in overtime and they were up 20 and yada, yada, yada. But how much, even if they did win game 5 in Indianapolis, they probably would lose game 6 too because they poured all their heart and energy and soul into that game just to stave off elimination. And you kind of can tell that Boston poured their heart and absolute soul into game 5 just to stave off elimination. And, it sucks for them. Like, I hate the Celtics, but man, it sucks for them. You get to join Cancun with us. So, but I do want to say, Boston earned that title last year, and it just wasn't their year this year. And I had them repeating because deep down I thought it's just like, oh man, Boston might win it all again. But they go down 0-2 versus the Knicks, and Jason Tatum gets hurt. So Boston, I don't know. I know next year is not going to be a great year for Boston. They may be a bottom seed for the first time since 2021, and they may not even make the playoffs now that I think about it, but I don't know for sure. So we can only time will tell. But I still think with Derek White and Jalen, they should be still competitive. I think they may need to get like a rental for like a third option for like a third ball handler because Peyton Pritchard has to come off the bench for you to have any chance. And I think obviously you need to get players that are better than Sam Hauser. And I think retooling with like other role players, like I said, or I didn't, like I had, training for Terrence Mann, getting a guy like Gary Trent Jr. or getting a guy like Amir Coffey, a 3-and-D wing that could score, like they could still retool. Right, but yeah, Boston's going fishing. I was wrong. I actually had them honestly winning it back to back this year, but I was just like, what? I was wrong about that too. The New York Knicks. I want to get to them, bro. Orange and blue skies. New York, stand up. I really did not have that great of a feeling about the Knicks going into the playoffs. I really didn't. Because I saw way too many glaring holes in the regular season with this team. And I had a feeling that they were going to be in trouble against the Pistons, a team with nothing to lose, and a team that I thought was going to take them to the brink. And I think New York would have ran out of gas to face Boston. But there were a lot of red flags in that Pistons series too. I mean, they had like multi-double-digit leads against Detroit, and then Detroit came back, but Detroit had leads themselves, and they crumbled under pressure as well. But then again, that is a young team on the rise, so I really didn't have all that great of a feeling about them going into the Celtics series. But they proved me wrong. They're proving me wrong, and It's actually kind of cool because I actually like the Knicks. I actually like their team. I love Jalen Brunson. I love Mikal Bridges. I love OG Anunoby and Josh Hart and Karl Towns. Even though he's the zestiest mother effer out there, but you know what? He's a freaking beast. But the thing about the Knicks that I really liked is they I don't know what it is because this was not the team I saw in the regular season. This was obviously regular season and postseason are different. Like, but I don't know because this was a different Knicks team. This was a team that everyone expected to show up in the regular season, but I think they may have conserved a bit of their energy in a lot of the regular season games because they don't want to overachieve in the regular season and end up falling in like the second round or first round or something like that. But the East is wide open for them, and I think they may be the best team in the East next year. And then Cleveland, Detroit will follow suit. Boston I hope, will be in the mix, low key. But the Knicks look more locked in. They're very bought into defense, and those guys, every single last guy is clutch on both ends of the floor. On both ends of the floor. Like, yeah, there are games where it's like the clutchness look very, very sus at times, but a lot of these games, going back to the Pistons series, because there were clutch defensive stops and clutch buckets by guys like Karl Towns. Game 6 of that series, it was Mikal Bridges who came up with a big tip-in to restore momentum for the Knicks and eventually restore momentum in that series, and they got out of that series. Clutch defensive plays by Mikal Bridges the following two games 1 and 2 in Boston Garden. Like, these players were clutch on both ends of the floor. And the one thing I knew, where I kind of had a telltale about how this game was going to go, was when Mitchell Robinson for as much as they were trying to hack him, it really didn't end up working, and they stopped going to that strategy, which I was kind of glad about because it was annoying them. It was annoying me, I should say. It didn't annoy them because obviously they attempted it. But man, I knew the Celtics were in trouble because the Celtics did a driving kick. I think it was Drew Holiday or Derek White or Peyton Pritchard that was trying to dribble by Mitchell Robinson. Karl Towns comes out, or I think it was Jaylen Brown, yeah. Or no, not Jaylen, frick. I think it was Derek White. Or whatever. They were doing a driving kick. Karl Anthony Towns bumps down to help. The moment Jaylen Brown thought he had an open three, Mitch Robinson smothered him, deflected the ball, and the Knicks got a run. I think they scored on that possession too. I was just like, that's great defense. But that was like the telltale sign that I kind of knew the Knicks were going to win the game and the series because of plays like that. So this Knicks team has the potential to win it all. Now, obviously, Indiana's not some slouch. They ain't slouches at all, man. Indiana is tough as nails, and they're coming off of two really impressive series victories against the Indiana Pacers. Against the Indiana Pacers. Came off of two impressive victories against the Cleveland Cavaliers in round 2 and obviously the Milwaukee Bucks in round 1. Demolition jobs to those two teams. So I'm not gonna sleep on the Indiana Pacers because those boys have a reason to win it all just as badly as this team and obviously the Knicks, Minnesota, and Denver, which my next episode of Series Recap will come out tomorrow. If some of y'all were wondering, so you'll get a double, or not tomorrow, on Sunday afternoon. So you guys will not see this part of Series Recap spaced out. But I do believe the New York Knicks have the potential to be champions, and if they keep playing their brand of basketball, and they can stifle Halliburton, stifle their and stifle the Pacers offensively, this team has a chance to win it all. And I think, and if New York comes out the East, I think they'll win the championship. I really do. Because Minnesota they may have better depth, but I think New York is the more clutch team, in my opinion. You guys don't have to agree with me. Some people will say Minnesota over New York. That's completely fine. I can see why, but for me and my eye test, I just think the Knicks are a little tougher defensively, but I think they're a lot more clutch. Again, this is just my opinion. I could be totally if they face in the finals, I could be totally proven wrong, and the Wolves just become the more clutch team. I think Denver relies so much on their starting lineup. They really don't have depth off their bench outside of Russell Westbrook. And OKC, they're so young and inexperienced too. Like I did say in my last video is that we have to stop using experience as like the end all be all or as like an automatic win or whatever. But I think if they face the New York Knicks, the same problems they're having in the Denver series, they're gonna have the same problems in the Knicks series as well if they ever face them in the finals and they get out this series and they get out against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But I'm very impressed with this Knicks team. I really am. I think this team has the ability to win a championship. And if they do win a championship, bro, oh my God, that would create major headlines all over New York City, all over ESPN. Imagine what New York winning a championship will do for the game of basketball in the modern day era, because they have not won it since 1973. They couldn't get it done in the 90s. They couldn't get it done in the 2000s. They couldn't get it done in the early 2010s when they got Carmelo Anthony, Tyson Chandler, J.R. Smith, Amon Shumpert. They couldn't get it done. Imagine what winning a title in New York would mean, not only to Knicks fans, because I have a lot of friends that are Knicks fans. My uncle's a Knicks fan, bro. But imagine what this would do for the NBA, bro. A lot of people saying ratings are down, this, that, and the other, and yada, yada, yada. But, man, this has potential. Bro, New York winning a championship would be as legendary as LA winning one. And obviously, the Lakers winning titles do so much for the NBA. But New York winning a title, their first since 1973, would make major headlines. And, man, it'll be a major party in New York. But this would be huge for the sports market. This would be huge for the sport. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and disrespect the Indiana Pacers, because if they win the championship, they absolutely deserve it, bro. They deserve it. I'd be happy for Tyrese. I'd be happy for Miles Turner with the 10, 11 years he had to go through, not winning with Paul George and Oladipo and Sabonis. I'd be happy for every single Pacer player, and I'd be happy for the coach, and I would be happy for OKC. I'd be happy for Jokic. I'd be happy for Ant Edwards. But New York winning a title will be very special for not only New York fans, but I think it will be special for some basketball fans too, because imagine what this could do for the sport. Imagine New York winning a championship. Bro, that would be legendary. So, other things I want to discuss. What am I guess I guess I have extra time, so let me give my quick thoughts on the OKC Denver series before I call it a night here. Obviously, that series is going in Game 7, but I do think the Thunder have shown a lot of chinks in their armor. Like, people like Shaq and Kendrick Perkins say that this team has no weakness. This team is like perfectly constructed or whatever. They have no flaws. But everybody gotta know. The Celtics in this series against between the Knicks and Celtics, the chink in the Celtics armor was their over reliance on the three ball. New York's chinks in their armor, the chinks in New York City's armor is that sometimes their offense goes stagnant, and their offense and they turn the ball over, and some of the other guys are not as reliable, they come in hot and cold. My mom calls them like emotional play. I forgot what the word she used. Moody. There we go. Like, these guys are moody players. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only really consistent one is Brunson. But in this series in particular, the chink with OKC was, and obviously this is applied to every NBA team. When one of their key players gets into major foul trouble, the offense becomes non-existent. The offense, when Shea is off the floor, there's no one really to initiate offense. So the lack of a backup point guard that could run the offense is kind of giving OKC a lot of problems too. Because when Shea picked up his his fourth foul, once he went to the bench, the Denver blew the game open. Obviously, the game was tied at 8, but Julian Strawther, of all people, decided to uh, blast the hell off and put OKC on blast with like 12 clutch points. I think it was all in the whole second half when he didn't really play at all during the regular season. So the one chink in Oklahoma City's armor is that their depth. They might have depth. They might have great defense. But the moment Shea is off the floor, the offense becomes stagnant, and Jalen Williams is as inconsistent as they come. And I love J-Dub. But if Alex Caruso's a good point guard, but he's not a facilitator playmaker that could take the weight off of SGA's shoulders. So when SGA comes off the floor, there's no offense at all. So if I'm OKC, Shea cannot afford foul trouble. Shea cannot pick up 3 fouls before the end of the half. In fact, he probably shouldn't even pick up 2 fouls don't even think about picking up a foul or 2 fouls in the first quarter. Because the moment Shea gets into foul trouble, bad things are going to happen for OKC, as we saw it in Game 6. When Shea picked up his 4th foul, the offense became non-existent. And after they got up 12, I thought oh my gosh, Denver's in trouble. But once Shea got off the floor, the Nuggets were able to tie it until the Lou Dort 3. So, and obviously the Nuggets' chink in armor is their lack of backups and lack of depth. But if I'm OKC, I don't want to say they should be afraid, but I hope they bring everything they got, because this is not going to be an easy Game 7, even though they are the overwhelming favorite. Sometimes that's not a good thing. That puts all the pressure back on Oklahoma City to win. And if I'm OKC, you better give it all you got, because 68 wins, a historic Thunder season, a season where everyone said there's no chinks in your armor, and you go and you flame out in the second round against a team who I predicted, or I said in my playoff preview with the Nuggets and Clippers, that the Nuggets have Mike Malone made the Nuggets culture, and I don't think they're going to get it back with Edelman as the head coach. But so far, they proved me wrong. They won the series against LA. So in a season where no one said you had chinks in your armor, you go out in the second round by a team who fired their coach with 3 games left in the season. You guys have a reigning coach of the year until Kenny Atkinson won it, obviously. The team struggled against the Clippers, and it took them one great game for them to shut down the series. And the best you could do, or not the best you could do, and you can't put this team away? Oh, man. Game 7 is going to be one for me to review on Sunday afternoon. So these are my thoughts. I feel like I wanted to get on here tonight and just catch up with y'all out here. Congrats to the Knicks. Congrats to the city of New York. Y'all deserve it out there, man. You know, my sister lives out there. So I can only imagine that she's hearing a big time party on the streets. What else was I going to say? Yeah. Boston, they might be done. But from the looks of it, it may be bad and they might be done, but Boston will be back. And Jason Tatum's comeback story will be one to remember. It'll be one to remember, and a lot of people actually, let me address another thing too, because I forgot to mention this. There's also a post on why a lot of injuries are becoming more rampant this season, especially with the Achilles, and then obviously what we saw at Donovan Mitchell. I don't want to take too long because it's probably a 30-minute video. So I did this. I watched this video from this guy called Ball Don't Stop on Instagram. Non-contact injuries have skyrocketed in the NBA because of the full court game The half court game was being just pushed out by analytics because every team wants to run and gun now for all 82 games, and it's not a healthy pace. So a lot of people don't understand that shortening the season is not going to really fix anything if the half court game is non-existent. Because a lot of these teams that are run and gun, their bodies break down in an 82 game season. Obviously, the Indiana Pacers were another example of that, but I think they've gotten better with their half court offense, especially with Tyrese Halliburton at the point. They really improved on their half court offense this year. So that's why they were able to stay healthy and they could still play at that pace in an 82 game season. Same with the New York Knicks. But here, let me read this from Ball and Stop, and then I'll officially end the video. Analytics ball created way too sporadic of a pace, cut, jump, sprint, and slide in a much more spaced out area. 82 games of this, very taxing on the body. Players are playing year round and having minimal recovery periods. Games in the 90s, 2000s, and early 2010s were played in a half court set, so guys had a lot of recovery within games. It was a sprint, not a marathon of threes and layups. Could new shoes and food system play a factor? Yeah, but the pace and style of play is really is what is wearing these guys down though. So that's one of the reasons why you see guys like Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell going down the way they did. Steph Curry at times, even though the Warriors are much more of a half court team nowadays, and also obviously it doesn't help that Steph is old, but when you're playing at that sporadic of a pace that whole entire year with no breaks within the offense and not playing full court, always running and sprinting up and down, that's very taxing on the body. Shortening the season is not going to really have any benefit for it, and I may make a video in the off season addressing this, but I actually might. So if y'all do see the video, I will use this video as a reference. But I wanted to say that real quick because a lot of people think that if you shorten the games, there's less chance of you being injured. No, it's the pace and style of play being played repetitively at an 82 game season. So yeah, I just wanted to get on here and talk to you guys tonight. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm very tired. I'm going to be heading for bed soon. But this was fun, guys. This was a fun series, and I'm having so much fun being back on YouTube and being able to do this and chat with y'all about my thoughts about these series, man. So once again, congrats to the city of New York. Congrats to Jalen Brunson. We're going to have a fun Game 7 tomorrow. And Boston, you're next to us now in Cancun, baby. Shout out to him, though. Prayers to him and his family. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.